I'm Jeffrey LaValley, and today I have the privilege of sitting with an evangelist, producer, songwriter, a doctor, one of the world's most profound vocalists, and a good friend, Dr. Dorinda Clark. It's good to be with you.
Oh, it is a pleasure just being here, and it's an honor to be here once again, especially in the company of my friend. This is my friend. He goes way back. We go way back, of course.
But now I've got to go back a little bit because of the fact we go back a long way.
Right.
Your mother was a great inspiration in my life, and she helped to train me and to teach me in everything that I've done. So let's go back. I remember the first recording that the Clark sisters even appeared on years ago. That was you and Vanessa Bell Armstrong.
Yes.
Let's talk about from then to now and the progression up to this point.
Yeah, it's really been a blessing that God has kept us this long, over 30 years, Jeff.
Right.
We've been in the industry and the ministry, and of course, like you said, Mom is the cause of all of this really happening, and the era that she was in had caused a lot of songwriters, musicians, and singers to come under her wings. Yes. And you know, and you were just talking about that, but the recordings that she had did, and I got to say, it have to have been maybe over 60 or 70 something recordings that Mom did back then. You talked about Vanessa Bell and all the Esther Smith, Doug Miller, and
Beverly Glenn.
Oh
and
my
so
God!
many more.
Yes, it's a lot of them, and so just being a part of that, the legacy of my mom, it is a blessing and it's an honor. Now
you're known as the Rose of Gospel.
Yeah.
You have done so much to inspire so many other people. And you have such, I mean, here it is, you're running here and there, Apostle. How do you find time to do the things that you do?
It has to be the grace of God and God keeping me in His care, because like we were talking about it before the interview, just the life of if you want to say, entertainer, or the life of a minister, musician, songwriter, mother, and wife, and all of those things. You have to find the time, and it all goes into prioritizing and making sure that you know, you don't X God out of your schedule, because if you X God out, something's going to be left out.
Right. Now, in what you do, you touch a lot of lives. A lot of people have been brought to Christ through your ministry.
Thank God.
I want to thank you for your even spending time with us today, but let's talk about how it is to reach out to people and the spirit that you have to have to reach out, because so many artists don't have, quote unquote, time to reach out and to touch other lives. What would you say to somebody that's looking to do what you do?
Well, I think the main thing is making sure that you have a good spirit. You have to, especially even under pressure, you got to be able to know how to handle people, and we always talk about handling people with kids' glove, because people are what make you, and you cannot do anything that would offend them in the manner of you know, when you're in this particular position, you got to be so careful, because the enemy's job is to steal, kill, and destroy, to do anything he can so that others can see it, and then they'll be saying, oh, you know, that. But the thing that I always tell young musicians and singers that are coming up is to make sure you're approachable, making sure that you always have an open heart to receive what God has done for us. We never would have had these opportunities and these doors to open if God didn't trust us to you know, keep the integrity. You know, that's one of the main things that God looks in us, is making sure that we carry the integrity of a believer and a person that represents Christ. And Mom talks about that all the time. She told us, you just never know who you're going to see. You never know what's going to happen. So you have to always be, you know, on your push your best foot forward.
Now you've won Stellar Awards, you've won Grammy Awards. You have done so much. To those that are looking out for fame and fortune, what would be your advice?
Well, one of them, making sure that you have a home base, and when I say home base, that means making sure you have a church, church home that you go to, that you call that it is your home, and your pastor is your pastor. He pastors you. He tells you what's right and wrong. That's most important. And then not only that, is making sure that that we make sure the things that we're trying to do is we perfect them as we go. You know, listening to other writers and musicians and other artists that really kind of, you know, that you really, you know, engrossed in, that you love, you know, and it helps your ministry.
Now, and I know you're on your way even now, out to a performance, so I want to thank you so much for spending time. And we got to sit down and do this more often.
We have to. We have
to. Folks, I'm with Dr. Dorinda Clark-Cole. Again, you're watching Heart to Heart. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.